Hello, my name is Monica Morrissey. I own a business called Intuitive Wellness. I am also the author of 3 books, and I am here to talk to you about my journey and to answer some questions about owning your own business and starting your own journey. After 32 years in public education, I decided to share my spiritual journey with others. I put pen to paper, stepping over the fear that I had of writing. I was not a writer. I did not consider myself a writer. I never dreamed of writing a book, but I had an interesting story to share. And I put pen to paper and I stepped over those fears. And some of those fears had come from not passing a writing exam in college. Some of them had been fears that my mother had planted inside of me, saying never to write anything that would be embarrassing. When I did this, it totally changed my life. I had been a very well liked teacher in the area. I was an administrator for 7 schools. I had worked my way up through the educational system. But inside, I was a little confused about myself. I didn't love myself. So even though on the outside looking in, I looked fine, I had been through some internal battles. One of them being addiction that I hid from my external life, my life that I showed everybody else. I fought through a lot of things in my life to get to where I was. I had to keep pushing, but I stepped off that. I call it the hustle train or the busy bus. And I shared my story of internal struggles with the world in a book. The book was about Dimes from Heaven. And my first book right there, Dimes from Heaven. And it was more than just the dimes from my dad. My dad had given me this dime from his coin collection. It's a Liberty Head dime. And we had them made into necklaces for all the family. So it was a pretty special thing to get from my dad before he passed. After he passed, he showed me so many signs that showed that he was still with me. When I started sharing these stories with others, they were very inspired and people, got goosebumps and said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened." And then they wanted to experience it for themselves. My second book, More Dimes from Heaven, was a journey to understand how my thoughts were affecting my life. My first book delved into being an empath and understanding how sensitive I was. It also helped me understand myself more. My mother could not have understood how sensitive I was. When I wrote about it, it healed something deep within me. The second book, I kept track of everything that happened during my writing journey. I was being supported in so many ways that it's hard to describe. So, my second book, More Dimes from Heaven, is about my journey to self publishing. After I wrote those first 2 books, most people were like, "That's great that you get a sign from your dad. How do I do that?" It seems that the pandemic and everything, it just seems like we've lost a lot of people lately. So I wanted to help people who are grieving. So I wrote my third book, Once Upon a Dime. Heaven is talking to us. Do you know how to listen? It's all about this invisible energy world, this spiritual world that we're all a part of. And it's not a religious way, it's a spiritual way. I wrote these books that helped me understand. And then I hope that other people would help understand also. These writing these books helped me embrace the Reiki that I had learned almost 30 years ago. Reiki is a Japanese technique for healing where you are laying your hands on a person or on yourself. And I learned it almost 30 years ago, and it helped me with my pain. I had a lot of back pain, I had back surgery. But all of a sudden, when I started writing these books, I was better able to embrace the Reiki energy. So I continued my journey to become a master Reiki level. And now I also teach Reiki. And it is an amazing journey to follow what I call the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs that excited me and inspired me and made me light up inside. I wanted to teach others how to do this, how to harness their own energy, how to believe in their power of healing naturally without medicine. There are times when we do need medicine. I'm not trying to say that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we do have the natural ability to heal. So I am interested in helping others be able to listen to their soul. My business is based on the belief that we are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. When we embrace this soul essence, then we truly find what we were sent here for. I love to teach Reiki. I love to do dream analysis. Dream analysis is all about understanding that dreams are a message from your soul. I use Jungian theory, and once we decode or figure out what the memory was about or the dream was about, it gives you ideas of how to move your life forward. I also love to do past life work. So in this work, I do a past life regression. And what that means is we travel back in time during a hypnosis session. And it's amazing how you can figure out your soul lessons and your soul patterns with relationships around people that are in this lifetime. And also, you can get messages from your soul, what your soul would like you to do during this lifetime. I love to give Reiki to clients, and I use my angel card readings also to help people understand their soul, or their life at a soul level. My big vision for my business is to help and reach more people, help people who are experiencing grief, help people understand the invisible energy that we have flowing around us and in us, and how our emotions affect our body in a physical way. If I want to teach as many people Reiki so that it gives them their internal power to be able to control their energy more, to be able to feel that peace and joy inside instead of the stress that life brings these days. I'm going to be answering some questions. And before I do that, I just want to say the place to find me is monicaLmorrissey.com. And if you're on Facebook, my Facebook group is called Dimes from Heaven, and that is where I'm most active. Here are the questions. If you could choose only one answer, what is the number one way that building your business has enriched your life? And why would you encourage other women to pursue building their own businesses as a form of self-discovery and self-empowerment? The number one way of building my business has enriched my life is that I have been able to dig into myself, accept myself, love myself, and write about my journey so that maybe my sharing of my story would help someone. Now, is it going to help everyone? No, But the people that it does help, that has enriched my life. People have, I love to see their light shining after sharing my light with them. It's kind of, I imagine, like a, if I have a fire, like if I'm holding my candle and then I go and I light somebody else's candle. That is beautiful to me. And to watch them grow and learn has been amazing. How does your business look different now versus when you first started? The biggest thing for me is that I don't work around the clock anymore. I do not get up in the morning and work, 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 don't take break, don't eat, don't do anything, and then like crash at night. I enjoy the day. I enjoy feeling what inspires me for the day. Yes, I have a list of tasks, but I look and say, what does my energy feel like doing today? Yes, I have to get those, boring tasks done, but in the joy of it, I don't feel like I'm working anymore because I just allow myself to embrace the work instead of pushing myself so much. So now I take breaks in the day. Now I work for a little time period and then I let go. And inspiration really comes when we're quiet. So my inspirations are more because I don't feel like I have to be glued to the computer all the time. What empowering routines or wealthy woman habits do you follow each day? So, an empowering routine that I always do is to not worry about if my week doesn't have, nobody's made any appointments and nobody has, um, signed up for my classes. I just believe, and I tell myself that what is right will come. And when I do that, when I let go of the outcome and I just say, whatever comes, comes, that's okay. And if I don't have clients, then I have more time to work on other things, other projects. Um, and then once I let go, it's amazing how many people all of a sudden contact me and make appointments. So letting go sends to the universe that you know it's coming. So I believe that it's coming. And that has really changed my outlook. How do you set your business apart from others in your industry? I embrace myself and my own gifts. So, for instance, Reiki, there's lots of Reiki practitioners. I add in all of the spiritual knowledge that I know about, and I integrate all the things that I wrote about in my first book. So, my first book was really a health memoir. It was understanding how our health works, how our emotions affect our health, and other things. So I integrate all of that into my Reiki sessions. I add essential oils. I add in chakra balancing. I add in um, healing stones. I use my own intuitive abilities to connect to the client. So I'm using my intuition and I'm trusting it. And once I did that, wow, the Reiki sessions really changed. So it's not just that I'm just doing basic Reiki. I'm also doing card readings during the Reiki. I'm adding in the tools that I have in my toolbox. So figuring out what tools you have in your toolbox, that's where it is. Also, I am a born teacher. So, you know, understanding that I know how to teach in a way that makes sense to everyone and I can reach every learner because I know how to do that. How did I market my business when it was brand new? Honestly, I was Facebook. I put a lot out there on Facebook, a little bit on Instagram, but not much. I allowed the universe to support me in ways that I didn't even see. but I knew that it was happening. Also, what I imagine is that once I get one client and they have a good experience, then I imagine that they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to tell their friends, and it's going to grow. And I didn't worry so much at the beginning that, okay, so I've got a couple of clients. Okay, we're going to, move forward. And it just kept growing and growing. So word of mouth is huge. What was one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome as you were growing your business? So I think that for me, it was that spiritual, embracing my spiritual self. I spent 32 years in public education where I wasn't really allowed to talk about spirit. Um, there's such a distinction between religion and school, but what I was embracing wasn't religious. Even though I had been religious in my life, the spiritual piece of me, I had to embrace that and know that it's okay to be that person. Um, I think that I was kind of coming back to my true self, and it's taken me a while to embrace this part of me because I hid it for so long. But I'm loving it. So once my soul knew that, I could overcome that. How do you deal with fear and doubt, especially when it comes to being visible online? That has to do with self love and just knowing that I am okay no matter what. Yes, I can make a mistake. That's okay. But I'm going to let it go. Anytime that I'm fearful, I have to ask myself, is it fear? Is it true fear? Or is it like an internal, like, boy, this is kind of scary to do. I don't know if I should do this. My fear in when I wrote my first book, I share that in my story. And I wanted people to understand how fearful I was. And by working through that and writing about my fear, it's like it dissolved because sometimes we get, when we're fearful or doubting ourselves, we get a little shame in there. And according to Brene Brown's work, shame can't live when you share it. And so by me sharing my fear and doubt about this journey that I was about to undertake, it's like it dissolved. And like I shared it with somebody else, and therefore it's okay. Do you agree that mindset is more important than systems and strategies, and why do you feel this way? Yes and no. So you have to do the systems and strategies, right? But within that, you have to also be able to let go of the outcome. And so that's your mindset is, okay, I'm going to do the work, and maybe 10 people will show up this time. Maybe one person will show up. That's okay. Let go of this need for verification or a pat on the back that you're doing okay. That's how I used to live. I used to live, looking for that reward, looking for somebody to validate me. I don't have to. My mindset is, I know that I'm doing this work, and the people that want to do this work will come to me. What was one of your number one money blocks, and how did you rise above it? So one of my money blocks was this fear of scarcity, right? Like lack of. And I had to dig deep into that fear and that block and wonder why I wasn't ready to receive. I had been a giving person for 32 years. I'd taken care of others. I had, I was a mom, I was a wife, I was a daughter, and all these things took up my energy. I was giving, giving, giving. And I had a hard time, one, asking for help, and two, receiving help. And so all of a sudden, I was like, well, wait a minute. If I give to the other person, shouldn't I be able to receive also? And so it was opening up this door of receiving abundance and knowing that it's okay to receive that abundance. Do you ever notice like sometimes people make comments about rich people and they say things like, well, you know them, they're loaded. And almost the tone sounds like a negative, right? We're like, well, and it's really just jealousy and ego in there. And so I had to be okay that abundance was my birthright and that it was okay to be abundant. And maybe somebody out there will make that comment about me. Well, she's loaded. Yeah, I may be, but I might not be. Nobody really knows our money story except for us. Because somebody who might look loaded on the outside or, rich, they might be heavily in debt. We don't know. So just believing, energetically speaking, that it's okay to be abundant, that was my release of my money block. And once I did that, boom, whew, like it has been a fascinating journey. Have you ever had coaching to help you with your mindset and business growth? And why would you recommend others to hire a coach? Yes. So I am part of a network where I have learned so many things about networking and business and growth and mindset that I'm not sure I would be as where I am right now. I also read books. And I feel like sometimes books are our coach. And uh, the thing about that is one of the books that I read was Grow Your um, Self Worth to Grow Your Net Worth by Nancy Levine. And she just says, like, abundance is an internal job. And so that had to do with my business growth. And so understanding that I was a valuable human and that I was giving my gifts to the world, and in return, the money would come. And it was just energy. Money's just energy. What is your number one professional tip for women to grow their businesses? Believe in yourself. Follow what lights you up. If you're not following what lights you up, it's going to be dead in the water. If you're trying to do it for money, don't do it. It has to come from deep inside you. It has to come from your heart. It has to come from your soul. And once you do that, it's your gift to the world. How do you define success, and what does it look like in a day in your life? Success to me is making a difference, but also taking care of myself. So there's this balance of not working too hard, but also working. And also finding gratitude in everything that you have right now. That is the true success. If you can be happy with right now and not always like the next best thing, you can find that peace from within. So once you have that peace, then your business can thrive because it's coming from yourself. What has been the biggest victory or milestone that you have achieved in your business so far? So I think all of my books that I've written, I've also written a grief journal, a Reiki journal, and I wrote a deck of cards that is called Heaven's Messages. All of these creative ideas have helped me grow as a person, and to look back and say, wow, that was pretty creative, and I'm helping a lot of people. So I think just completing those was my victory. What will you never compromise on with your business? I won't compromise my peace and wellness and health. So if my business is not making me feel well, I'm going to do something different. My health and wellness comes first. So if I'm not feeling well, I don't work. That's simple as that, because my life is important to me. And when I say no to something else, I'm saying yes to myself. What would you change about your business journey if you could go back in time? Nothing. It's a journey and it's not perfect, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine. I'm not like other people. I'm doing it my way, and I'm perfectly fine with how I'm doing it. What is your least favorite part and your favorite part about being an entrepreneur? My least favorite part is just the unknown, that sometimes I forget that I have to trust the universe, that everything's going to be okay. My favorite part about being an entrepreneur is my ability to organize my time and my health and my wellness all by myself, and that I don't have to answer to anybody, and that I can take care of myself first and foremost, and that I get to um, manage my time, structure my time how that I want to. What is something fun or interesting that your audience does not know about you? I'd say that I love to be outside in nature, and I would love to be able to sleep out under the stars every night. That I just really feel very connected to nature in a way that is difficult to explain. So it might not be that interesting, but I just love being outside. And when I was a kid, I was outside all the time. I was swimming. And I guess that's another interesting thing about me, is that I love to do cold therapy. So I love to take cold showers. I love to dip in a cold river or a cold lake, because it just sets my body on fire. It just recharges me and gives me the energy to move on. So that is definitely something that a lot of people don't know. This has been wonderful and fun, and I hope that everything that I said today might help you in your journey. And I wish you all the best. And it has been a glorious time learning all these things. Again, you can follow me on monicaLmorrissey.com. My YouTube channel is monicaLmorrissey.com, or YouTube, Monica L. Morrissey. And that's where you can find my vlogs. And on Facebook, you can find me at Dimes from Heaven, a Facebook group. Thank you for joining me.